8278, coming to you on a dreary, cold and damp northeast Sunday morning. Today I'm doing my part to honor the Tuber Tag Challenge Freshwater, where I was nominated not once but twice. The first time I was nominated by this Asian guy that said because he's Asian he has to have goldfish and fish tanks and things of that nature. I think his name was the Sweat Box, the Toy Box, the Yellow Belly Sapsucker Box, something along those lines. Actually, his name was the Water Box. Definitely a funny guy, fun to watch, a lot of information, beautiful tanks. I'll leave a link in the comment section below so you can go check him out. The second person that nominated me a day later was Tropical Freshwater Abodes. Another great channel, beautiful tank, but definitely stop by and check them out. Now the Tuber Challenge is where you're given 9 questions to answer, which kind of gives you insight into our passions, our likes, our dislikes, how we got into the hobby of fish keeping, and then at the end we nominate 3 more people to do the same thing. And it's just a way for us to get this out to everybody, people that might be thinking of jumping into the hobby, people that want to change some things within their tanks, have different fish, whatever the case may be. So let's get this rolling. And I'm cheating because I wrote my questions down. First question is, how did I get into fish keeping? Well, back in the day with the carnivals and the fairs, you used to have the ping pong throws into the little tiny glass fish bowls. Back then they either had goldfish or they had bettas. Now, betta prices have gone through the roof, and back then you get them for 50 cents. Problem being, young, not full of knowledge at that point. I would win. A couple weeks later, the fish would be dead. Disappointed, I kind of walked away and did other things. Then in my late teens, early 20s, I actually worked for Petco, and back then they actually trained employees. I don't know what they do now, but I was in charge of the fish keeping department and small animals, and I always gravitated towards the fish end of it, and worked to get the fish that we would get in bulk healthy, get their colors vibrant, things of that nature. Did a lot of reading about fish and fish keeping, and that kind of sparked the passion. And before I knew it, I had 20s, 10s. Back at the time, I just didn't have room for the larger tanks. Did dirted tanks before they really caught on and became, mainstream in the hobby. And various fish, plants. So that's kind of how I got jump started in the hobby. Question number 2 is, what is my favorite fish? I've got several. I definitely love my neons and my cardinals, but I tried, after seeing so many videos of cories, I decided to get cories in this 55. I have several different species, and I love them. They're fun to watch. They all have their own individual personalities. Definitely a great fish. I'd have to say cories at this point are my favorite. Which brings you to the next question. What is your least favorite? I was kind of like, don't really care for goldfish, but then I thought back to those days of my 20s and things of that nature, and I'd have to say my least favorite, I don't hate them, are the danios, those fish on crack that like to race back and forth in your tank. So that would be my least favorite. What filter am I using is the next question. On this tank I started with an Aquariums 5575 that I hot rodded, watching some videos from Corey and at Aquarium Co-op and some other people, and I kind of took bits and pieces and hot rodded that. Was doing a great job, but during one of the live feeds I got talking with a few people, and I just couldn't justify spending the money on a Fluval FX series. Just, they all have their pros and cons. One filter works, the other one doesn't, and over time, they all have their pros and cons, so I won't say anyone's better or worse than the other. This tank, I actually have a Cascade 1000, my own media. I used Eheim Mech biomedia, no carbon, Purigen in both the HOB as well in the canister, and it's doing its job well. It's cut down my maintenance time. So canisters. The next question is, what light do I have? I have a 48-inch Phoenix 24 Planet Plus. As you can see, that too is doing its job. What is my favorite tank setup? Right there, planted. I can't do it outdoors because I live in an apartment complex now, so this is the next best thing. What would be my dream tank? It would be a tank big enough to take a section of a lake and put it into a fish tank so that I could have smallmouth bass, largemouth bass, sunfish, crayfish, whatever. What foods do I use? I use quite a few different foods. Watching some videos from Corey at Aquarium Co-op with the Ceratabs or Ceratabs. Tried those. The fish love them. They go nuts when I stick them on the glass. What is good about that is you can stick them anywhere in the tank so that everybody gets fed. And I did try the Rapashi grub pie. The effect is 10 times more than the O-tabs. They go nuts when I put that in the tank. And I guess the last question is, what would be my dream fish? Right there, largemouth bass. Kind of doesn't fit in the hobby, but I think given the proper size tank, that would be my fish. So with that being said and done, now it's my turn to nominate 3 people. On this particular person, I did forewarn him when I was nominated that he was getting nominated. He spends a lot of time in the live feeds on Corey's channel, and you know, through time we've got talking, and he posts questions and you know, put in his input, but I've never seen any of his tanks. So D Bachelor Planted Fish Tank, you have been nominated as promised. The next nominee is David Betancourt, or Bantencourt, sorry if I butchered your name. Definitely a fun guy. He was the one that gave me his experience with the Cascade 1000 as well as a few other folks, and thank you for that, because it's definitely rocking this tank. And the third person that I'm going to nominate is Tankhead Videos. This brother is awesome. He has such a drive and passion when it comes to his fish tanks, his family, hell, even his football team. I almost seen him in tears when things started messing up in his tank, when his football team was tanking, sorry the pun. Righteous brother, great channel, love his passion. So Tankhead, you've been nominated. Outside of that, I'm done here. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this. Check out my other videos, like and subscribe if you want to, and have a great day, and take care of those fish.